Hi there, Zamin for NerdTube. These are my thoughts and spoilers of the Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 12, Outpost. So we get our Crosshair episode today, our Empire episode of the day. And you know what? I'm very happy to do so because we do need to mix things up. We do need to keep things fresh and following Crosshair. And in this episode, we're definitely getting a redemption arc for Crosshair. Is quite fascinating. I do enjoy our time with him to wonder, is he going to go deeper down the Empire rabbit hole, or is he going to finally see the light like his fellow Bad Batch members have, and basically realize that maybe a good soldier shouldn't always follow orders and think for themselves a little bit, which is what the rest of the Bad Batch have done. In this episode, Crosshair is asked to go to an outpost. This outpost has some very important cargo, so to speak, that needs to be retrieved. A new rookie lieutenant is going to be in charge of the mission, and when the lieutenant and Crosshair, as well as some other stormtroopers, arrive on this planet, they realize that most of the clone troopers who are guarding this planet have died. There's only the leader, whose name is Mayday, and a couple of other troopers. They've been raided by the inhabitants of this planet, the locals. They are like the snowy version of Tusken Raiders, so to speak, and they've been stealing cargo and shit from this Empire headquarters for a long time now. So Mayday is a bit pissed off that nobody's come earlier to basically replenish supplies, bring more troopers, help them out, yada yada. Obviously, this new lieutenant who comes across as a cocky arsehole is not going to take this insubordination from this fucking clone, and basically tells him to shut the fuck up. We work on the Empire's clock, not on yours. Stuff like that. And when more cargo gets stolen by these raiders, this stupid lieutenant decides to get Crosshair and Mayday to go and retrieve it because more of the clone troopers have been killed by this raid. And Crosshair and Mayday, they do bond a little bit. There's a moment where Crosshair steps on a mine, and Mayday is there to help him, deactivate the mine. And it's a nice moment between the two of them because Mayday basically saves Crosshair's life. And they do come across the bandits' headquarters, their camp, so to speak, and they take them all out, as you can imagine. But they also cause an avalanche, making the cargo unobtainable, and Mayday injured as well. So they have to hobble back to the base. They do get to see what the cargo is, and it just happens to be stormtrooper armor, which pisses off Mayday even more because he knows he's being replaced. Because the armor's not for him, it's for the shiny new armor is for the new recruits. Anyway, there's a moment as well prior to all of this where Crosshair mentions to Mayday to watch his back and stuff like that because he's not going to be carrying dead weight. But ironically, he does carry almost dead weight when Mayday does get injured. I think obviously with the bond that they do, gain going on this mission, and Mayday saving Crosshair's life with the mine, I guess Crosshair feels like he owes him one, and he brings his almost lifeless carcass back to the base. But there's no cargo, and the lieutenant's really pissed off. Mayday is begging that medical attention is being given to. So Crosshair is begging for medical attention to be given to Mayday, but it doesn't come. Mayday dies. Crosshair's pissed, and in a moment of anger, he kills the lieutenant. And then because he's so exhausted from the trek, he collapses, and he's knocked out. But then he wakes up, and we see him in some sort of Empire headquarters, so to speak. And it looks like he's been maybe treated or possibly experimented on by this lady who works for the Empire. Now, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but I had a good look at this young lady, and I think she might be a female clone like Omega, but grown up. Just have a good look at her next time you watch. If you decide to watch this episode again, she looks like an older version of Omega. And she, whilst doing whatever she was doing, prodding things into Crosshair, who's lying on this hospital bed, so to speak. Well, it's not really a hospital bed, but you know what I mean. I don't know how else to describe it. But a doctor will eventually see him, she says, but we don't see that doctor in this episode. But yeah, I do feel that this girl who is treating Crosshair is also a clone, a female clone, who happens to be happens to look a lot like Omega, which is why I'm assuming that she is a clone. Anyway, really good episode. Good to see Crosshair finally get his redemption. There is a place for him, obviously, in the Bad Batch. He's part of the original crew of the Bad Batch. With Echo gone, the Batch desperately needs somebody to fill in the space, and who better than Crosshair himself? Really enjoyed this episode. I guess you can tell that Crosshair realizes that a good soldier should not always follow orders. Sometimes you gotta think for yourself, and you gotta know when shit is fucking definitely hitting the fan. And as far as for the clones are concerned, at this period of time in the Star Wars history and the Star Wars lineage, it's not good for the clones. They are getting replaced. They are, the Empire's moving on for them. We saw that with Palpatine in an episode a few weeks back regarding the clones. So yeah, I think Crosshair is gonna have to start realizing that eventually he'll be replaced. He is expendable, and it's going to be interesting to see where we go with him. But unfortunately for him, he is in custody by the Empire. He's been experimented on, being prodded on, so to speak. So we'll see how he's able to get out of that conundrum. If he does, maybe the Bad Batch save him. Who knows? But yeah, great episode. I did enjoy it. 8 out of 10, I guess. Yeah, good stuff. Very good season so far, season 2. Nearly every episode I've watched has been thoroughly enjoyable. People would say that there's a lot of fillers in the Bad Batch, but I don't mind. I mean, you can't call this filler. We need to see what's happening with other people in this universe who play a part in whatever the Bad Batch is doing, and Crosshair is definitely one of them. He's a former member of the Bad Batch. He's batting for the other side right now. So these sort of episodes are necessary. So if people think this particular episode is a filler, then they're wrong. At the same time, I don't mind fillers if they're good. Sometimes we just need some sort of side quest sort of shit just to see how our guys are doing, and a lot of the time fillers tend to enhance the characters and give them, pad them out a bit and let us get to know them a bit more, and adds to their, to who they are. So when they talk about previous things in the past, they can mention that particular side quest or that particular side quest, not just the main quest, because they've done things. But anyway, let me know what you think of this episode. I thought it was very good, as I said before, 8 out of 10. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. Take care. Bye bye.